The Raiders aren't just a football team, they're a storm. A franchise built on rebellion, controversy, and unforgettable chaos. Loved by their fans, hated by almost everyone else. Today, we break down the moments that made the Raiders the NFL's ultimate villains. This is the story behind the league's most hated team. Al Davis defying the NFL to move the Raiders to Los Angeles in 1982. In 1982, the NFL thought it had all the control, but one man wasn't having it. Al Davis, the fiery owner of the Raiders, shocked the football world by moving his team from Oakland to Los Angeles, without the league's approval. Why? Davis believed in his vision for the team and was willing to fight anyone who stood in his way. The NFL said no, the court said, well, eventually, yes. This bold move didn't just change the Raiders' city. It changed the balance of power in professional football. Fans cheered, rivals fumed, and Al Davis cemented his reputation as the owner who never backed down. The Raiders weren't just a team, they were a statement. A team willing to defy the rules and the league itself. The holy roller play against the Chargers that shocked fans league-wide. Fast forward to 1978. The Raiders were in a tight game against their rivals, the San Diego Chargers. With seconds ticking away, quarterback Ken Stabler fumbled the ball. But instead of disaster, a miracle unfolded. The ball rolled forward, and in a bizarre sequence, Raiders players batted and kicked it down the field until tight end Dave Casper finally fell on it in the end zone for a touchdown. Fans erupted. Opponents were furious. The NFL was stunned. This play, instantly dubbed the Holy Roller, became one of the most controversial and talked about moments in football history. It wasn't just a touchdown. It was a statement. The Raiders played hard, creative, and unapologetically, bending rules in ways the league had never seen before. The Raiders weren't just winning. They were rewriting the rulebook, and the Holy Roller cemented their reputation as football's most unpredictable and hated team. Ken Stabler's legendary Ghost to the Post playoff drive in 1977. 1977, Raiders fans were about to witness a drive that would become the stuff of legend. In the playoffs against the Baltimore Colts, quarterback Ken Stabler orchestrated what is now famously called the Ghost to the Post drive. Facing a do-or-die situation, Stabler connected with tight end Dave Casper, nicknamed the Ghost, on a perfect deep pass that stunned both fans and defenders. But that wasn't the end. After a relentless series of plays, Casper hauled in another crucial catch near the end zone, setting up a game-tying field goal and ultimately sending the Raiders into overtime. This drive wasn't just about winning a game. It was a showcase of precision, guts, and pure Raider grit. It solidified Ken Stabler's nickname, the Snake, and reminded the NFL why the Raiders weren't just a team. They were a force to be reckoned with. The Raiders' relentless brawls with the Broncos earning their fierce rivalry. No story of the Raiders is complete without their bitter rivalry with the Denver Broncos. Week after week, year after year, these matchups were more than games, they were battles. The Raiders' aggressive style on the field led to legendary brawls, late hits, and jaw-dropping confrontations that left fans on the edge of their seats. Every encounter seemed like war, with emotions running as high as the stakes. It wasn't just about football, it was about pride, city bragging rights, and the Raiders' reputation for intimidation. Opponents learned quickly. When the Raiders came to town, nothing was off-limits. These clashes weren't just memorable. They cemented the Raiders as the NFL's most feared and controversial team, the ones every rival loved to hate. Marcus Allen walking out of the Raiders' locker room in protest of coaching. In the mid-1980s, even the Raiders' locker room couldn't escape controversy. Star running back Marcus Allen, frustrated with the coaching staff's decisions, did the unthinkable. He walked out during practice in protest. Allen, a future Hall of Famer, wasn't just upset over a single play. He was fed up with a system that he felt stifled his talent. This bold move sent shockwaves through the team and the league. Fans were divided. Some applauded his courage, others questioned his loyalty. It was a stark reminder. The Raiders weren't just a team that fought on the field. They had personalities, egos, and conflicts as intense as any game. And moments like this only added to their image as the NFL's most unpredictable and controversial franchise. Marcus Allen's
Well, it wouldn't be fair. He has a lot of the ability of a Barry Sanders, but it would be unfair.
Marcus Allen's protest wasn't just a personal statement. It was a symbol of the Raiders' culture. Fearless, rebellious, and impossible to ignore. Bo Jackson's unforgettable yet controversial dual-sport career with the team. Bo Jackson, a name that still sends chills through NFL and MLB fans alike. Known for his unmatched athleticism, Jackson wasn't just a football star with the Raiders. He was also a professional baseball player. On Sundays, he'd bulldoze defenses for the Raiders. During the week, he'd step onto a baseball field, showcasing power and speed few had ever seen. But this dual-sport lifestyle wasn't without controversy. Coaches worried about injuries, contracts clashed, and the league questioned his commitment. Yet Bo didn't just survive, he dominated. Every electrifying touchdown, every jaw-dropping run, reminded the world why the Raiders were willing to take risks others wouldn't. Bo Jackson embodied the Raiders' fearless, boundary-pushing culture, and his legend still inspires fans decades later. With Bo on the roster, the Raiders weren't just playing games. They were rewriting what it meant to be extraordinary. Raiders repeated fines and suspensions for on-field misconduct. If there's one thing the NFL learned fast, it's this: the Raiders never played soft. Throughout the 70s, 80s, and beyond, the silver and black built a reputation for brutal, punishing football, so intense that it led to a long list of fines and suspensions. From late hits to sideline fights, the Raiders pushed the boundaries of physical play, refusing to tone down their aggressive style. The league responded with penalties, warnings, and suspensions, but the Raiders didn't care. To them, toughness wasn't optional, it was their identity. Opposing teams complained. Analysts called them dirty. But Raiders fans? They loved every second of it. Each fine and suspension only strengthened the image that the NFL's most hated team was also its most fearless. These moments didn't just cost money, they shaped a legend. The Raiders weren't just breaking rules. They were daring the league to stop them. Their infamous black and silver image intimidating opponents and fans alike. When you think of the Raiders, you think of one thing: black and silver. But this wasn't just a color choice. It was a warning. From the uniforms to the helmets to the fans dressed like warriors, the Raiders created an identity built on fear. Opponents stepped into the stadium already tense, already rattled. No team in NFL history has used its imagery as effectively as the Raiders. The moment players walked through that tunnel, dark smoke rising, fans roaring, skulls and spikes everywhere. It felt less like a football game and more like stepping into enemy territory. This look wasn't a costume. It was a mindset, a statement that the Raiders weren't here to entertain. They were here to dominate. The 2002 Spygate-like scandal accusations, stirring NFL controversy. Then came 2002, another storm of controversy. Whispers spread around the league accusing the Raiders of spying on opponents, stealing signals, and bending the rules to gain an edge. Nothing was ever proven. No concrete evidence, no official punishment. But the accusations alone were enough to ignite the NFL. Fans debated, rivals pointed fingers, and analysts tore apart every detail of game footage. For a team already branded as villains, the story fit perfectly. Whether true or not, it pushed the Raiders deeper into their role as the league's bad boys. Always one step away from chaos, always surrounded by drama. In the end, the scandal left a mark. Not because it was confirmed, but because it felt like something the Raiders would do. And that was enough. Raiders' occasional flops and late-season collapses frustrating loyal fans. For all their triumphs and legendary moments, the Raiders have also faced heartbreaking lows. Seasons that began with hope, ended with frustration. Late-season collapses became an all-too-familiar pain for loyal fans. Key injuries, sudden slumps, locker room drama. Whatever the reason, the team often stumbled just when it mattered most. These weren't just losses. They were emotional gut punches. Fans that lived and breathed silver and black found themselves watching promising years evaporate in the final weeks. And yet, they stayed. Because being a Raiders fan means riding the highs and surviving the lows. The collapses hurt, but they also proved the loyalty of one of the NFL's most passionate fan bases.